Assalamu alaikum dear students. Today we are going to discuss about the report writing that is the part of your paper 1 section 1 and directed writing. Report writing is the task of directed writing. Directed writing means to write according to the directions of the examiner. In report writing, it is a formal, clear, and concise type of writing with the purpose of writing about some events, incidents, or inquiries. It is quite similar to your formal letters. You will have to write the 200 and 300 words, and it carries 30 marks, 15 for your task and 15 for your language. You will have to follow the provided and given 3 bullet points, and you will have to follow all the instructions given to you by the examiner. Letters may be formal or informal, but report is always formal. To differentiate the formal letter and the formal report, you must focus on your language and on your format so that examiner could feel that you know the difference between a formal letter and the formal report. There are 3 basic differences that are format, purpose, and language. A formal report must not be confused with a news report, which is one of the response genres which may be asked for in a reading task. A formal report intended audience is someone in an official position who requires an account of an incident, investigation, or experience to be kept as a record or as a basis for a decision or further actions. It consists of ordered facts and exact details with a clear structure. An accident report and a job report are chronological. Such reports are more strict to the details. They require the specific and exact detail about the event. A report analyzing the suitability of the candidates for a position would evaluate each candidate in turn, ending with the one recommended. The language must be precise, concise, objective, and formal, without the use of figurative language. While the news reports, unlike other accounts of events which are usually chronological, news reports generally follow this order: summary of recent event, background of the event, return to the immediate situation, response of those involved, and look ahead to near future. But in a formal report, the first few sentences answer the question who, what, when, and where, followed by how and why. Reporting does not include the emotional response or personal views of the reporter or any direct address to the reader. Because a report is simply a clear and concise document written with the purpose to describe an event or an incident. Report is written for the school newspaper, journal, or the newspapers. The main points to remember while writing a report are that report should be written in past tense and do not choose the first person, I or me. Rather, you can choose the third person, he or she. Use indirect speech in the formal report and use passive voice. Mainly, the reports are written to analyze and report some issue like indiscipline, accident, robbery, or unhygienic conditions in some area or locality. So, in the end, the solution is also suggested or recommended by asking for some prompt action to be taken. There are some points that you should keep in your mind while writing a report. That always spend 5 minutes to read the question carefully to understand the given task. Task here is 15 marks. And don't forget to follow the instruction. If the instruction in the question is to start your report with Dear Sir, then there is no need to write the address or date in the format. Pay full attention to the grammar, spelling, and punctuation, and don't forget to revise your task to correct any mistake or error which you might have done in your writing. The formats of the formal reports. Students are required to explain the 3 bullet points which are given in the task. You will make 5 separate paragraphs. The first paragraph for introduction. Then in the body of the report, you will cover 3 paragraphs for 3 bullet points. And then finally a closing paragraph. However, introductory paragraph and the first bullet point can be written as a single paragraph. And if there are instructions in the task, then candidates are required to follow them. For example, the instructions may be like that: start your report with dear sir or dear inspector or dear principal, end your report with your signature and date, use past tense while writing a report. So you will have to follow all these instructions. There are different types of reports that may be written to the principal, report to the police, report to the newspaper, or report to some department like municipal committee, etc. If the instructions are not given about start or ending of the format of the report, then the format will be like this: to the inspector, principal, etc. Whatever your audience says, then your name and date, and then subject. You can pick your subject from the task. Dear Sir, introductory paragraph, body of the report with 3 bullet points in 3 paragraphs, then concluding paragraph, and finally your signature and date. But most commonly, the formats are not important in Cambridge and they are not required. So if the examiner have not asked you to write about the format, then don't waste your time on focusing the format. Just focus on the tone. Tone is the quality, feeling, or attitude expressed by the words that you use in your speaking or writing. So, focus on your tone, keep it formal because you are writing a formal report. It should be formal, respectful, and polite, even if you are making a complaint. Avoid slangs and contractions like I am, I don't, etc. Now, I have an example to make you understand the report writing. On a school outing, the owner of a food stall accused a member of your group of not paying for a drink. You are the most senior student present and you have been asked to give your school principal a clear picture of what happened. Your report should include the following: write a report with the title, a date, and your signature. Here, the instructions are given to start your report with the title, so the PET format is not required here. The 3 bullet points are provided to you. First one is when, where, and what happened. Second, who was involved and what your teacher did. Third, who, in your opinion, was in the wrong. You may add further details if you wish. Okay, here you must note that if you do not cover all these 3 points, you will not get marks because each bullet point carries 5 marks. Cover your bullet points completely and satisfy your examiner with enough details. Start your report with subject or heading using the past tense because in Cambridge, content is more important. Difference between a letter and report must be clearly observed by the examiner. Do not use the salutations and directly start with the heading that in this case may be report on the incident during theatre outing. Now start your introductory paragraph combining it with the first bullet point with the specific detail about time and date. You must quote exact detail about the place and about the event. You must not be ambiguous about your information. You should not write that I don't exactly remember the date. Just imagine everything. For example, in this case, you may write last Friday on March 10th, 2006. I was with my class traveling on the school bus from Ahmedabad to Lahore. We were going to the theatre to see Macbeth by William Shakespeare. Here quote the exact detail about place, about movie, and about date, day, time, month because it is a report. Reports are very strict about the details because they ask about some incident, inquiry, or information. So, your information should be correct and specific and exact. Okay, then you can continue which we are studying for exam. The exact purpose is explained here. It was a very hot day and we had been traveling for more than 2 hours. A short description is added here. When the driver stopped by the roadside where there were many stallholders selling snacks and drinks. Mr. Rizvi. Here you will add the exact name of the teacher. So Mr. Rizvi gave us the permission to buy what we wanted and return to bus in 5 minutes. Don't write the ambiguous information that I do not remember the exact name of the teacher or exact name of the place. Use your imagination about the event because your event or your report may be the mixture of the real incident and the imagination. Always use the second form, past tense, was, were, had, did. Now the detail till this point covers your first point. Now we will see what the second point is. And the second bullet point in our task is to explain about who was involved and what your teacher did. So now we will start about writing who was involved and what your teacher did. Some girls shared their money with those who did not have any, but nobody shared with Ruxana. I saw her join a crowd of girls around one stall and take one of the bottles of cola and run back to the bus. The stallholder saw that Roxana had taken it without paying, and when the other girls had bought their drinks, he ran to the bus to demand the payment. But that time, Mr. Rizvi had told to the bus driver to set off, and the stallholder banged on the window. Claiming that one girl had not paid him, Mr. Rizvi asked us all if you had paid for our drinks, and we all, including Ruxana, swore we had. Mr. Rizvi then told the man that his accusation was false because all the girls had paid. Our bus then left the stallholder behind, shouting and looking very angry. Okay, students, now you can see that till this point we have discussed our two content points with proper and exact and specific details. Now we will move to our third bullet point, that is who in your opinion was in the wrong. Here you are required to put your own opinion, so you can add the opinion, otherwise the opinions are not necessary to add in the formal reports. So to cover your third bullet points, we can write Roxana brought dishonor on herself and the school for stealing, and she made her crime even worse by lying to Mr. Rizvi. Perhaps I should have shared my money with her, but I only had enough for one drink. Finally, you will end your report with name and date. So hopefully now you will be clear about report writing, and you can easily differentiate between a formal report and the formal letter. Now revise your report, check your spelling, grammar, tense, and the speech, voice, because we have successfully covered the task, but we must make sure that we have equally successfully covered the language. After all, language carries the 15 marks, and we cannot take the risk to lose the marks for language. Now revise and practice your report writing by yourself. Thank you very much.